Oof. That autofocus is not gonna get. Just get closer to the camera. Hey guys, welcome to Notes Blog. Always question, always explore. So, I've been in a whole bunch of places. Haiti, Kenya, DC, St. Louis, I don't know. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps here. Make a long story short, I visited some of my friends, some Chicago artists who are pretty dope. We got Alex, Jovan, Kiera, Keisha, and Aaliyah. Oh, and Ian Kessler. Yo, what's up, homie? Boop, boop, boop. And actually, Damon and all these guys were there too. I did not get to hang out with Damon, man. I'm so sorry. I tried, and then like the scheduling was all off, and I hurt my back in the middle of that. I went to this place called Sweetwater, and Sweetwater is this black commune that is established up in the north side of the city. And there's a lot of history, there's a lot of stuff. I did a little video on it, so we'll jump to that. So where's Sensor Duck? Where he at? Well, you know, I gotta write those scripts, and then I gotta animate it, and it takes a lot. I have like several of them that I have not finished yet. So, you know, sorry. Here's the show. This is the Notice Blog. Always question, always explore. Growing up, I think a lot of us were taught that hippies were a white people thing. But later in life, I discovered that, just like in rock and roll, the history behind the hippie movement has been ultimately whitewashed. Actually, a friend of mine, Anya.
Movement is actually the way you learned how to be in your body. That the synapses of the brain when your baby is first born, they're really more like a general guideline. Like, you might want to go in that direction, but they kind of leave it open. I like that. And so a baby who has kind of gotten to the point, maybe they're sitting up, or they're in this position, they're sitting up, and they see, oh my God, shiny. I want it. They reach their limit of their comfort zone. But the desire, the seeing of that thing, the shiny, they want it so bad that they go ahead and make the leap beyond comfort zone. And in that moment, they discover cross-lateral movement. Yeah?
Anya, an iconic dance choreographer based out of Chicago, told me this once.
So what I've heard about the linguistic roots of the American term hip is that it originates from enslaved Africans, reference to this Wolof word hep. Hep in Wolof means knowledge or insight. Someone who understands the underneath workings of things, who's like, you know, hip to the game. And in Wolof, when you want to refer to someone, a person that has a quality, the ending of the word is cat. So hepcat would be someone that has knowledge, or someone that is hip to the game, essentially. People often correlate hepcat and the use of the word hip, like she's hip, he's hip, as used in the African American community, is thought to be the root of the American euphemism hippie, as what we know of as the hippie movement in the United States in the 60s was a youth movement that sprang up in the white community, and that was characterized by white youth who were exposed to ideas that proliferated from African American culture. It all makes sense, doesn't it?
Anyway, I didn't become aware of black communes until freshman year of college, when I learned about Move Africa in Philadelphia. Stumbled upon an old documentary on it, and I had no idea it was going to end like that.
I could actually see my house being blown up.
Everybody was just, it was like a torture to watching our life just burn down to the ground. I mean, baby pictures, family members' pictures, everything destroyed. Mementos of our youth destroyed. Everything was gone.
I mean, black communities in America have been bombed before. The Smithsonian just released an article on eyewitness accounts of planes dropping balls of napalm onto the homes and people of Greenwood, Oklahoma in 1921. But the bombing of the Move Africa commune by the Philadelphia Police Department took place in 1985. I'll do something on that later. But now, we're talking about the rebirth of communal living in the black community, especially in relation to urban agriculture. Here's what I noticed. a lot of distressed groups often form closer interdependent communities amongst each other. To see how this works, and to see the benefit of this, I went with my friend Alex to visit Sweetwater.
Look at our melanin, looking all kind of good and tasty. We are headed to Sweetwater to go chill with Aaliyah and go bask in the sun.
Just east of the Dan Ryan Expressway and west in Washington Park, the Sweetwater Foundation sits right on the edge of the Inglewood neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. Started in 2014, the people of Sweetwater dedicated themselves to transforming once blighted neighborhoods into places of healing and community. Using a mix of urban agricultural practices, educational programming, and outreach, alongside artistic expression, Sweetwater developed this once abandoned space into a sustainable, economically productive, and socially conscious pillar of the Inglewood community. Well, alright, hold up. I'm getting ahead of myself. First, a little background.
3823 South Ellis on the south side of Chicago was built in 1901. Since 1945, only Negroes have lived here.
The land you're looking at was originally founded as an elementary school, known as the Mosley School in 1856. By 1930, that school had been converted into the Mosley Correctional School for truant and delinquent boys, right around the time the neighborhood began to change. Funny, right? Now, the school moved locations in 1958 before being shut down in the 90s. Eventually, the building was demolished and the land just stood there, vacant. But in 2011, that lot was turned into an urban farm. While that first program had a rocky start, the seed of what this area would transform into had taken root. And in 2014, the city of Chicago asked the Sweetwater Foundation to step in and take over the community farm. So what took so long? Well, Chicago's long history of redlining made development near to impossible.
I've been looking at the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act data.
This giant government database has information on nearly every home loan application in America. It tells you a lot about who's trying to buy a house.
You have the race and ethnicity of the applicant, how much money they make, how much money they want to take out, and then you have the location of where they're looking to get that loan.
So looking here, right, I see applicant race, and I see like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5s. Like who are 5s?
5 is white.
Right, they corrected for that, right? Remember, think back, 2008, 2009, nobody can get a loan. Credit has evaporated for everyone. Now here we are, almost a decade later, credit is back, but only for some people.
And how do they justify that?
The banks are saying that if we had this information, that some of the disparities we're seeing would simply melt away. That once you had this key credit score data, that you would understand why it is that African Americans or Latinos would be denied at far greater rates than whites.
So are they basically saying that blacks and Latinos just naturally have bad credit? I mean, that's what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons why nobody would give an on-the-record taped interview for this story. I mean, I spent months trying to get any of the banks that are featured in this show to sit down and talk to me on tape. And I think fundamentally, the reason that they didn't want to do it is because they would have exactly the same exchange with me that you and I are having right now.
That redlining is why the city of Chicago built the Dan Ryan Expressway, right in the middle of the community. Pretty hard to have a neighborhood farm when that neighborhood gets sawed in half. And Chicago has a nasty habit of picking and choosing what areas are granted funds and resources. Channel funds and resources to affluent neighborhoods on the north side? Sure. Revitalize a commune on Chicago's Black South Side? Not so much. It's a place rich in history, and that history brought along other legal issues. But that's where the Sweetwater Foundation comes in, bringing in programs for art, education, and urban agriculture. Side note, urban agriculture is the practice of cultivating, processing, and distributing food in or around urban areas. Well, it seems simple enough, but it's an excellent way of providing healthy food alternatives to people living in food deserts. But they've been around for ages. I'll probably do some more on that later. So it's no wonder why the bedrock of Sweetwater is the community farm. The farm covers 2 acres, employing local community members and feeding over 200 residents in the surrounding area, each and every week. Another main staple of Sweetwater is their apprenticeship and outreach programs.
Been here longer than 6 months.
What's going on? 7 or 8?
No, it's way longer than that.
Only been here since
Wait, so
it's summertime.
Can anybody do the apprenticeship program? What's the qualification?
Here, they offer training for green collar work, carpentry, hydroponics, everything to make your community flourish. In 2017, Sweetwater raised the Thought Barn, a performance and gathering space for local residents. And this was historic. This was the first barn to be raised in the city of Chicago in more than 100 years. And it's also where they hold their annual Juneteenth celebrations. Side note, Juneteenth, also known as Juneteenth Independence Day or Freedom Day, is an American holiday that commemorates June 19, 1865. That announcement was the abolition of slavery in Texas, and more generally, the emancipation of enslaved Black Americans throughout the former Confederate States of America, outside of Native American lands. And the Emancipation Proclamation of January 1st, 1863 was not enforced there until after the Confederacy collapsed.
If the Emancipation Proclamation was passed in 1863, why weren't you free until 1865?
Well, it took 2 years for the Civil War to end.
Oh, so you were free when the war ended?
Nah, not for 2 more months because Texas landowners wanted another harvest.
That's not cool.
Well, none of it was cool. But an army ship arrived on June 19, 1865 and announced we were free. That's why we celebrate Juneteenth.
What was I to say?
This is a library. They have books about architecture, agriculture, health and wellness, social sciences, geography, one of my faves, and history.
According to the people of Sweetwater, their heart stays with the people of Inglewood and a larger community they serve. But what really gets me is how this connects with our past.
It occurs to me that sometimes when we're in the heat of battle, one day we're trying to lift something or get something attached and it's a little frustrating. We have to remember that we're actually just planting the seeds for 5 or 10 years from now. The different activities, the different outcomes and results and relationships and networking and all of that is really laying the groundwork for the future. So that helps me get through some of the hard times.
There's a pantheon of Black liberation and community that they're participating in. These agricultural practices, community behavior, stem from the rural Black communities in the South. It's where many Chicagoans trace their roots from, a la the Great Migration. And just like any refugee community, the link to their previous homes is preserved in the traditions, practices, and culture passed down through generations. My own family fled the South. On my mom's side at least, my dad's Jamaican, but I can still recognize the different elements brought from the past that we still use today. Whether it's my mom's affinity for home gardening as therapy, or our family trips to the Ozarks, or Myrtle Beach. Space, community, and owning the means of production, in this case food, are all present here. And they each play a role in progress. In 160 years, the land has shifted, grown, and flourished. The goals for Sweetwater Foundation are simple, yet vital to understanding how they were able to build a sustainable hub of economic growth and healing. And they are as follows. Engage the community. Serve the community. Build the community. Offer people career opportunities. Foster the local economy. And make an inclusive space for people who live in Inglewood. And they're doing it, one day at a time. So, the next time you hear about communes or hippies, think about Sweetwater. Think about Move Africa. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other places out there that I don't even know about. They're still doing work in terms of healing and rebuilding in Black communities nationwide. I'm Paul Notice. That's Censor Duck. Thanks for watching. Tune in. Please subscribe. Or if you just like the stuff that I do or the editing that I do, you can hit me up right here and drop me a line about any gigs that you want done. I do a lot of editing, and I also shoot too, so I do the whole shebang. As always question, always explore. Thanks for watching. Side note, I recently had $5,000 worth of equipment stolen, so if you guys want to help me replace all this equipment because it's super expensive, help me out by donating to my GoFundMe. You can find the link right here. If you guys are looking for more Noticewalk stuff, follow the other links below that go to my website, or check out my YouTube channel, which is pretty nice. Or you can just, hit me up on the gram. See what I'm up to there. I'm always posting new stuff. It's been a crazy hectic couple of months and everything, trying to rebuild and re-edit and redo a whole bunch of projects, but I'm finally getting back. So, thank you guys for, still showing support and being patient and stuff. I will be coming up with a whole bunch of other crazy and fun things that are both documentaries and scripted narratives. So be on the lookout. Anyway, thank you guys. Take care. Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you really like us, why don't you consider supporting us on Patreon? Yes, Patreon.